It is time to get rid of some books. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is a little bit of an unhaul. So, as a lot of you know, Rachel and I moved across the country. We unpacked all of our boxes of books, and, well, when I say ours, 17 of them were mine, and I think one of them was hers for her office. Anyway, I digress. There were some books that I wanted to unhaul. Now, some of these will not be a shock to everyone because I did do a video last year about some series that I'm on the fence about continuing, and some of them which I don't think I will be continuing. So some of these won't be a shock. It's not a huge unhaul because I'm a book collector and I have a problem, but there are definitely some that are going to go into the donation bins at the various secondhand bookshops that we have here in Perth. Before we jump into the video today, make sure you're checking out the description box down below for links to my social media and Discord should you want to come along for the ride. Now, we will jump into these. Some of these are YA, some of these are quite famous series that a lot of people like that did not work for me for some reason or another, and we'll go through the why of why I'm getting rid of these as well. Also, what do you think of the setup? I know there's room for more books. I think I've said that previously. You're on a desk. I now have lighting equipment that is sitting there, as well as audio. And the ring light that I have isn't quite big enough for the camera and the little dongle that goes into the mic. So we're going to play the what angle is he on game every time I make a video. But that's fine. That's fine. That's why we're here for. That's why this is not a huge channel. It's just for fun. Anyway, I digress. So, what are the books that I'm getting rid of? We are going to start with a buddy read that I did earlier this year, and I bought an omnibus of The Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey. The reason that I'm getting rid of this one is because whilst it is I would say, staple of classic epic fantasy, and it had some really beautiful prose and story elements that were really cool, the way that women are written about in this series, and they're not like other girls things, and just some of the ideas behind how women should be treated or are treated in this world do not vibe with me. So I read the first two. I read the first one with a couple of friends of mine, so Taylor over at Made Between the Pages and also Luke from Luke's Book Nook. And we were all on the fence about reading the second book. I read the second book, and those elements I didn't enjoy, unfortunately, didn't get better. So I will be putting this one away in hopefully one of these secondhand bookstores around here. And it can go to a new home if someone else is interested in reading it. The next thing that I'm unhauling is the first two books of whatever the series is called. The Scythe series, I don't know. Scythe and Thunderhead are the first two. Now, I am interested in reading these, but I don't think I need them on my shelves. I don't know when I'm going to read them. I have checked my bias against YA recently, and I've heard really good things about these series, but I think I'm going to read it on either an ebook or go down the audio route. I'm pretty sure I have the first one on either ebook or audio, and we'll go from there. But I'm not super, like, it's not calling to me. It hasn't since they've been on the shelves, and I need some room, so these are going. Now, the next one is going to hurt some people, so I apologize in advance because for some of you, this is your favorite series of all time, and that is going to be Red Rising. I have the first three books, Red Rising, Golden Sun, and Morning Star, I think it is, and these are all going to go and get donated, and hopefully someone who will enjoy them a hell of a lot more are going to pick them up. I read Red Rising, and I liked the first 30% of it, and then it just got really boring for me. I do not care about what's-his-face, Darrow, throughout all of his endeavors. And I have heard it gets better. Granted, this is not, I will never return to this series, but if I do, it's going to be on audio because the narration of the first book was the best part about the whole thing. But I have had someone who I trust very much when it comes to my reading taste say that this probably will not get better for me personally. So those three are going to go and get donated. And because it is so well loved, I'm hoping that someone will pick up all three and have a great time with it. Now, this one is a series I've definitely decided is not for me. I will not be continuing on with it, even though I'm interested in reading something else by this author, and that is going to be the Dresden Files. So I've got books 1 to 4. So I've got Stormfront, Full Moon, whatever this one is, Grave Peril, and Summer Night will be getting donated. I do not like the way... I just don't like Dresden. I just don't like him. I think he's a creepy dude, and I've heard it's for a purpose. I heard it gets better. I don't care, personally. A lot of people love this series. A lot of people like this series, but do also acknowledge those things in these books, but say it gets better. I'm not interested in reading 9 books for it to get better. I'm done with Dresden. That being said, I do own the first book of one of his other series. Actually, I own the first book of 2 of Jim Butcher's other series, which I'm interested in reading because I like the writing. So we'll see how that goes when we get to it. But yeah, as far as Dresden goes, it's a no from me, and I'm out. The next one that I'm going to be getting rid of is Full Throttle by Joe Hill. This is a book of short stories, like horror short stories, contemporary horror short stories. I liked it. I will never read it again. So I think I loved one of the short stories in here, and it's just not enough to justify keeping that book, unfortunately. Now, the next couple that I have here, you can tell it's a new camera because it's all wobbly whenever I do things. Sorry for people watching. I will try not to put stuff on the desk while you are precariously on a new ring light situation that needs to be tightened. The next couple I have are, I think they're indie books that I bought because I went through a big phase of buying indie books and, wanting to support those authors. But then I realized that these authors get more when you buy the e-copies. So I have the e-copies of these, and they're just not calling to me, and I need to make some room on the shelves for things that are calling to me. So the first one is going to be Bryce O'Connor, The Child of the Daystar. I think I bought this one because it was relatively cheap on Amazon, but this is not the Bryce O'Connor book that I want to start with, and it's just not calling to me at all. So I'm going to go put that one in a secondhand shop. Someone else can enjoy it. This is Chasing the Darkness by Cassie Sanchez. And I don't know if Cassie Sanchez is an indie published author, self-pub, or whether it's a small press. I have a suspicion that it's a small press that this author is done by. But again, I bought it and then I read the blurb. It doesn't really appeal to me. I could be wrong. If someone's read that one, let me know. But for the time being, it will be going off. Now, this one I am interested in reading at some point, but I bought the e-copy as well. I just really like the cover. And this is Shane Silver, Devil's Dream. And it's like vampire novels. And I have not been gravitating towards any sort of vampire stuff except for Jay Kristoff over the last little bit. And it just, I don't know. I saw it and I was like, and I'm not sure why I purchased that, but I do have it on e-copy, so if I ever want to give it a go, I have it there. The next one I'm going to be donating is Arvect. Now, this book was really cool, but I bought it for the cover, and then I read it on the Kindle. I had a good time with it. It is a series I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on with, but I'm glad I definitely read this book. Some of the themes in this one were a little bit complicated for me, but if you are someone who likes cyberpunk, maybe give this one a go. I quite like Craig Lee Gordon's writing, and I'm interested in reading some of the novellas potentially in the series or around the series or even the next book. I think that's already out, but I'll probably just keep going on the e-copies rather than that book. But it is a beautiful cover, one of the coolest cyberpunk covers that I've seen. Now, this next one is an interesting story. So a friend of mine recommended this to me, and I'm sorry for people who like Terry Pratchett. I do not enjoy Terry Pratchett's humor. I do not enjoy Douglas Adams' humor, and this sort of goes in a similar vein. This is Mogworld by Yahtzee Crossshaw. And a friend of mine who doesn't read all that much really enjoyed it and said that she wanted me to give it a go. So I read the first couple pages, and the humor is just not for me. Personally, the premise, while it sounds fun in theory, I'm not funny. I don't enjoy humor for humor's sake. Now, whilst I appreciate that a lot of Discworld is satire and it's done for a reason, I just don't enjoy the humor personally. So that one is going, and hopefully it'll find a home with a less serious and uptight human being. I like very smart and witty humor personally, that is dry and can be mistaken just for everyday conversation. I am who I am. The next one I will be donating is Mexican Gothic. This is by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I thought this was fine. I've got a few other books written by this author which I'm interested in. I have one physically, one audio, and maybe one on e-copy, or maybe that's the same one. I picked this up. Personally, personal tastes, like horror, do not like haunted house stories. Very rarely will a haunted house story make me go, ooh, that was creepy, or that was a really good, well-written haunted house story. They don't grip me at all. Some of this writing was really beautiful. in here. I definitely like the author's prose and writing style, but the story wasn't for me. I ended up DNFing the physical copy and going on to an audio copy when I listened to this one, and it worked better for me. So that one is also being donated. Now, these two are being donated because I think there's a series before this one, which I haven't read and I own on e-copy. So I think my M.L. Spencer journey is going to be mainly an ebook journey. So this is the Chains of Legacy and also Chains of Blood. This is the Chaos Cycle. So I'll be donating these ones to a secondhand bookstore, and hopefully someone else can pick them up. I have Dragon Mage. That's probably where I'm going to start with M.L. Spencer and then go back and read the first series. I'm also not a huge fan of the gloss covers personally, but I am just going to be reading those on ebook. So I own them already on e-copy, as well as I think it's the first series there. So I've got them all. I just don't need them on the shelves. All right, the next one is going to be White Tiger. This is by Kylie Chan, and I'm getting rid of this one because it has started to yellow. That normally doesn't bother me, so secondhand books don't really bother me at all, but I don't own any of the other ones, and it's one of the only series that I have secondhand that I don't own other books in it, and it's not calling to me to go and get other books in the series. I'm not writing Kylie Chan off as an author that I'll ever read, but just for right now, it's not a thing that I'm gravitating towards at all. So we'll be donating that one. And last but not least, we have, sorry for the camera shaking, China Mayville's Peridot Street Station. Now, I'm donating this one because I bought the Broken Binding edition, and it is beautiful, and I need to go pick it up from a friend of mine, which will be happening sometime next week. So we'll have that beautiful edition on the shelves behind me, on that little Broken Binding hardback shelf that you see, which I already need to get more space on that shelf, or somehow move things so that there is more space for the hardbacks. But yes, I'll be donating this one because I have another copy on the way. I've not read China Mayville before. I'm probably not even pronouncing the name correctly, and this will be the one that I look at starting with that beautiful Broken Binding edition. So those are some of the books that I will be donating over the next couple of weeks. What are your thoughts? Tell me, am I wrong on any of these? I'm very interested in your opinions on the comments down below. If you like the content, give one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.